If you're directly benefiting from the Tinubu's regime, like Nyesom Wike, like Daniel Bwala, like this other guy from Ebonyi State, David Umahi, if you are those kind of people and you are directly benefiting from Tinubu's administration, and then you are singing praises of the APC government, I would understand with you. If you're indirectly benefiting from Tinubu's administration, like Tony Elumelu, like Aliko Dangote, like Obi Kubana, like Kubana chief priest, you know, and a host of others. And then you are talking so good about the Tinubu's APC's administration. I would understand with you. After all, no matter how bad a government is, there are people it will favor. And it will be insane that something is favoring you and you're calling it out. Insane in quotes, because normally when something favors you and it's not favoring the others, you are supposed to feel uncomfortable. But the Nigerian situation is a situation of established selfishness. So if it's favoring you, it's not a problem, no matter how it is adversely affecting the other people. So if you're supporting the government because it is directly or indirectly favoring you, I would understand. But my challenge is with those people who support such a government over absolutely nothing. Maybe because he's a Yoruba person, maybe because he claims to be from Lagos. So you are identifying with him based on the sameness of origin, but it doesn't benefit you. Or maybe because you just like the Tinubu idea. Some people call him master strategist. Maybe you just like his strategy that is absolutely negatively explored. I have a problem with how you think. You know, it's quite unfortunate. But today I will talk about the students' loan because I've spoken about it before. I think on twice or so. But then, now that we are getting close to the election, the Tinubu supporters are touting students' loan all over the place. You know, ignorance and miseducation are weapons in the hands of your oppressors. They do not want you to know anything so that if they just give you a drop of water to your tongue, you will think they have given you a fountain because they want you to stay ignorant. But I would say something today about the students' loan that should get you to think again. This is the Nigerian Constitution. This is the Nigerian Constitution, the one that they have amended, as amended. Now, it's not a surprise. There are Nigerians that are up to 50 years old. There are Nigerians that are 70. There are Nigerians that have lived their life until they passed that do not own a copy of this constitution. Apart from not owning it, there are Nigerians that have never set their eyes on the constitution. There are Nigerians that don't even know what the constitution looks like. I'm talking about adults. But that constitution is the book that contains how you should be governed. That is why, in fact, even our politicians, our leaders, our so-called leaders, a lot of them do not know what this constitution looks like. A lot of them have never opened the constitution. And I think one of those people is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because if you've actually read this constitution, there will be no need forging certificate, or there will be no need for the rumor in case you did not forge. There will be no need for a rumor of a certificate forgery because there would have never been any need for it. The constitution clearly says that academically or educationally, a president should have achieved a school set or its equivalent. School set is first school leaving certificate, primary school education. That anybody who have attained education up to primary level is qualified academically to become president. In that situation, what is the sense in forging a university certificate? Why do you have to forge a university certificate if the basic requirement is a primary school certificate? They are doing that mostly because they do not know what the Constitution talks about. In fact, it doesn't stop there. The Constitution also says the equivalent. That means if you do not have primary school certificate, anything that looks like certificate at all can suffice. It doesn't stop there. The Constitution still went ahead to say if you've attended a seminar in the country, whether you know how to read or write, that's the kind of constitution we are operating. So the constitution doesn't really care if you went to school at all, if you knew how to read or write at all. If you've attended a seminar, what that means is that if you know you have a presidential ambition and you are an illiterate, you can just go and attend one seminar and sit down there. Whether you understand what they are speaking or not, you've attended a seminar, then you are academically qualified to contest as president. It doesn't stop there. This same constitution says if the INEC chairman feels that you are qualified to run for president, then you are qualified. What that means is that whether you are deaf or dumb or you are blind or you are retarded, if the INEC chairman feels this person is qualified, so much power to the INEC chairman. That means that person can run for president. So in this case, why would anybody be forging secondary school certificate, forging university certificate? Why? It's simply because you do not know what contains in this constitution that guides you, or you are mad. Now, as faulty as the constitution is, as quite unfortunate as our is even a decree, because it's the military that gave it to us, as quite unfortunate as our decree is, if we can practice what is in it alone, Nigeria would at least have something to manage. The problem is not just about a faulty decree. It's about the fact that in its faultiness, it has not been practiced. And I will show it to you using the student loan. Let us look at section 18. I don't know if you can see it clear. If you have the constitution, you can open to section 18. I will read section 18 of your 1999 decree for you. Section 18, subsection 1. Government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. Equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. Subsection 2. Government shall promote science and technology. This is an order. This is not a favor. This is responsibility of government. Whoever becomes president or whoever is vying for the position of a president is supposed to know this, but they do not even know what they are contesting for. They just want to be president. It's their turn. Government shall promote science and technology. Please, you people who are Nigerians, how far have the government gone about science and technology? The last time I knew about science and technology, they said Nigeria was planning to produce pencils, I think in how many years later. Then the other minister for science and technology resigned over certificate forgery once again. What is happening in science and technology in your country? But it is clear here, government shall promote science and technology. Subsection 3. Government shall strive to eradicate illiteracy. This is not a favor. Government shall strive to eradicate illiteracy, and to this end, government shall, as and when practicable, there I have a problem, we'll come back, provide free, that's A, free, compulsory, and universal primary education. So if you are in secondary school, or if you have a kid in in primary school, that child is supposed to be going to that school for free from 1999. If you were in primary school in 1999 and you did not get a free education, the government cheated upon you. It's not just free, it's compulsory. What that means is that there would be no child who wouldn't be in school at the age where they would be in the primary school. The next one is free university education. What that means is, if you are attending a university in Nigeria, you are supposed to be attending it for free. All those things those people come and say, students, school charges, all those things are lies. You are not supposed to pay shishi as a university student in Nigeria. It is not a favor. It is a responsibility of government. It's a call to order constitutionally. I am not the one who wrote this in the constitution. It's your constitution. It is clearly written here that a university student is supposed to go to school for free. The next one, free adult literacy program. Free adult literacy. So what that means is, if there were people who didn't get educated before 1999 and they've become adults, they should organize adult education program for them for free. This is to show how important education is, and it's in your constitution. Anybody who comes to say they want to become president is supposed to have it at the back of their mind that they would fulfill and live by the expectation and the orders of the constitution. So if your constitution have said that you are supposed to be attending school for free, what are we doing with student loan? Now, there is a caveat or a clause, like we always say it, in this constitution. And that clause is, when practicable. When practicable. That means the government is supposed to give you free education in the university and in the primary schools, but that will happen when practicable. The reason they put that when practicable is because they don't want to do it. Because if they wanted to do it, there is no reason for when practicable. What that means is that since they've not been free education in the university, is because the government cannot practice it. It's because there is the lack of the possibility of doing it. So it is not practicable for you to give free and fair education like the constitution orders you. But it is practicable for you to give students loan. So where is the money for the students loan coming from? And what will happen if the students don't repay the loan? But speaking of when practicable, the monies that have been siphoned, the monies that have been looted, the monies that have been squandered by Nigerian leaders would have given us free and fair education. So it's not a matter of its practicability. It's a matter of its impunity. These people are going away with these things Abacha's loot, the kind of monies that have been recovered as a reason of Abacha's loot, will give every Nigerian free primary, secondary, and university education. Now, recently, the other day, about last week, they said they discovered a 120 trillion oil misappropriation fund. 120 trillion has been misappropriated in the oil industry. Do you know, in fact, 120 trillion would build schools all over the place for free and pay teachers. And we are saying when practicable. There was a time they said, okay, Okezie Ikpeazu siphoned about how many $1 million, real project money. That money would give Nigerians free and fair, is it free and fair education? Free education. There is the COVID-19 relief fund. They did not use that money to do anything about COVID. They diverted the money. What about the monies that they have recovered from removal of fuel subsidy? I do not believe in that, but they said they removed fuel subsidy, so they will recover a lot of money. Will that money not practically give Nigerians a free education system? Why must it be loan? Why will you loan me education when it is clearly written in the constitution that I should get it for free? Why? How can a normal human being celebrate students' loan when that government is capable and has been ordered by the constitution to provide the education for free? How stupid can that be? But let's imagine that the government says students' loan. How realistic can it be? Okay, for example, you gave me loan to go through school. I am expected to pay back when I start working. What's the employment opportunity in Nigeria like? How long will it take for me to get a job and start repaying? There are people who have graduated from universities in Nigeria and never got a job until they died. So if those kind of people got the student loan, how do they repay it? I graduated from a university, but I have not. See, Nigerians do not survive as a result of them being university graduates. They just survive from whatever they see on the street. How? POS, there are people who are barrel pushers who have a university degree. Everybody in Nigeria just want to go to school. So, by what means will someone who will not get a job employment in the next 20 years or 10 years after graduation repay a student's loan? But these are means where they want to divert money, because they will take money and say they have given student loan to 2,000 students. Meanwhile, they give to 5 people and the rest of the monies will be put in their pocket. And this is what someone will celebrate. What is student loan? Why will you give me student loan when the constitution says you should give me a free education? Why will you give me students loan? And how the hell will any normal human being celebrate students loan when the constitution says the education should be free? And if you are praising Tinubu over students loan when Tinubu is supposed to make the education free constitutionally, then you have to check yourself.